In this presentation, you will learn about structuralism and Bourdieu's theoretic approach. Structuralism was an intellectual movement in France in the 1950s and 1960s that studied the underlying structures in cultural products such as texts and used analytical concepts from linguistics, psychology, anthropology, and other fields to interpret those structures. It emphasized the logical and scientific nature of its results. It flourished in a climate critical of dogmatic Marxism and, in particular, Stalinism. Jean-Paul Sartre, many believed, had failed to offer a convincing account of Stalinism. Structuralism offered a critique of both dogmatic Marxism and of liberal institutions. Structuralism offered a legitimation story that functioned much like critical theory, like the writings of Lukács, Gramsci, and the early Frankfurt School. Structuralism failed to deliver on its promise of scientific predictability. Though politically attractive at the time, it failed to help social scientists and critical theorists deploy the structures to anticipate or protect future outcomes. Linguistic structures, for instance, impose some constraints on the way that agents talk, but not necessarily on what they say. The structures do not necessarily control or determine behavior. The constraints of language coexist with freedom of individual expression, so that the patterns that emerge are no more than that patterns. They help make sense of individual expression, but do not dictate how agents will deploy language. This deficiency led many to seek different avenues post structuralism. One of the most successful, or at least interesting, is Pierre Bourdieu's attempt to synthesize structuralism and existentialism. Bourdieu's theoretic approach, what he called practice theory, stressed that through habituation, agents may internalize the structures that surround them. They may internalize the binary distinctions that Levi Strauss identified and that then may become part of their habitus, part of their way of understanding the world and acting within it. The Social World, Bourdieu wrote, in Outline of a Theory of Practice in 1972, may be the object of three modes of theoretical knowledge, each of which implies a set of, usually tacit, anthropological theses. The first mode of theoretical knowledge, Bourdieu associated with Jean-Paul Sartre. This mode of knowledge sets out to make explicit the truth of primary experience of the social world. The second mode of theoretical knowledge Bourdieu called objectivist, and he associated it with Claude Levi-Strauss. This mode focused on the linguistic relations that structure primary knowledge of the social world. The third mode of knowledge Bourdieu attributed to himself. It is a theory of practice and it represents a break from both existential and structuralist modes of knowledge. It is a mode of knowledge that treats actors as ensconced within structures, semiotic and material, that are internalized and taken for granted, and who navigate these structures strategically. Actors understand the rules of the game and play by, manipulate, and strategize the rules, often in a second hand way. It incorporates both the Levi Straussian moment of unconscious structures and the Charterian moment of subjectivity in a theory of practice that is intended to let us better understand and predict actions. For Bourdieu, the tension between structuralism and existentialism crystallized the central problem in contemporary thought, namely the lack of theory of human agency. Thank you for watching the presentation. To like, subscribe, share, and leave your comments about this presentation or any other topics you would like to learn more about.